Maithri plans a comeback with Easter attacks that caused his downfall. Mahinda, Basil agree on changing election map. SJBs Elite Class proposes to make Sajith Premier. Operation that sent Minister Bandula back home. Namal still plays his own game.
The leader, දේශයට මග කියන ප්‍රවෘත්ති පෙළගැස්ම.
Maithri plans a comeback with Easter attacks that caused his downfall. SLFP chief Maithripala Sirisena is in the news again after some time with a claim that he knew the identities of those behind the Easter Sunday attacks. With the statement trending in social media, the Catholic Church issued a threat that it will take to the streets if he does not get arrested immediately. Sirisena knew about the attack beforehand, and concealing information of the crime itself is a crime, said Factor Rowan Silva. Sirisena told journalists in Kandy yesterday that he was prepared to reveal, on an order or at request by courts, the persons responsible, and that it is up to the judges to keep confidentiality of his revelation. He also bemoaned an absence of support from the government and the opposition after he got elected as the president. Either a general or a presidential election should take place as scheduled if the country is to come out of its crisis, he added. Political circles wonder what he is up to with this latest barrage of words at a time when national elections are due. Hated by Catholics over the Easter Sunday attacks, Sirisena is not acceptable to any party either, and his attempt to form an alliance has failed too. But he is an experienced politician. Maybe he could use the very incident that caused his downfall to make a comeback. Mahinda, Basil agree on changing election map. Ex-President Mahinda Rajapaksa said after paying homage at Sri Mahabodhi that Basil Rajapaksa had proposed the best course of action when he said the general election should take place first. A few days earlier too, he summoned a close relative of President Ranil Wickremesinghe and impressed upon him what that election should precede. Reportedly, it is Attigal who was told that he should tell the president to dissolve Parliament by April and hold a general election in June. All this is power politics. It is not fear of losing that should prevail, but advanced strategies and working accordingly. That could be why Ranil told his cabinet to prepare for a presidential election first. The other thing is that Mahinda nor Basil has stressed the need to be sensitive so much about electing Ranil. SJBs Elite Class proposes to make Sajith Premier. With Ranil declaring his intention to run for president, Sajith Premier has received a proposal from his own party to support him and form a SJB government where he could be the premier. Top party seniors are said to be behind this proposal, who want an agreement signed with Ranil in that regard. Both the UNP and the SJB have a few who belong to Colombo's elite class. They joined with Sajith at the last general election, but are still very much the UMPers, say young MPs of the party. A former minister now in the SJB's Economic Committee is the first to come up with this proposal. He made it known to Sajith's campaign manager, Sujiwa Senasinghe. Some say this could well be part of Ranil's own campaign. As a strategy, this has some political importance, but how Sajith will take it is the big question. Operation that sent Minister Bandula back home. The pro-JVP LankaTruth.com website quoted President's E-column as saying Premier Dinesh Gunawardena has been appointed to head Ranil's fake cabinet that targets a future national election. According to the report, Ranil has decided to accept other parties to the political cabinet that will meet every Wednesday, chaired by the Premier. It will discuss matters with the President before the cabinet meeting takes place. Asoka Jayatunga's President's E-column headlines this time are: trap set by the Fox to grant 3 days for the no-faith motion against the Speaker, Ranil's stand on COPE resignations, Ranil's revelation about a country gaining independence, operation that sent Minister Bandula back home, New Year auspicious times at midnight backfire. The column starts by saying that New Year auspicious times have heated up things just like the election fever. Many say the country is having bad times. The second best country in Asia by independence has gone bankrupt today. Many believe the Sri Lankan passport could have had access to 186 countries had patriots not expelled the whites and created disunity. Timing is bad for the New Year auspicious times this year. Ranil told the political cabinet to celebrate the new year and Vesak and then start the political work. News director Dinith Chintaka Karunaratne said people are against the fixing of the time to partake of meals after midnight. Mahindananda Aluthgamagai asked Ranil if the times were done by him or by the cabinet. Ranil replied, "We gained independence in 1947. But DS received independence in 1948 at the best auspicious time." The column also refers to how the no-faith motion was defeated. Ranil telephoned Foreign Secretary Aruni Wijayawardena and told her to summon back the 10 government MPs who were abroad at the time. Minister Bandula Gunawaradena was still on his flight to the US Dinith called Washington at 3:00 a.m. and received no response. A callback came in the morning. He instructed Bandula be told to telephone Ranil soon after he landed. In the meantime, the Foreign Secretary left messages with the embassy. Even Ranil ordered Ambassador Mahinda Samarasinghe to turn Bandula back immediately. So, within hours of setting his feet on the US, Bandula had to catch a flight back home. The cunning fox advised to grant a 3-day debate as demanded by the opposition in order to give time for Bandula to arrive. He lost his cool and issued a directive that no one should go abroad without getting permission. Anyway, he got MPs back from abroad and, with the support of those who are behind bars, defeated the no-faith motion with a 42-vote majority. Sagala Ratnayaka raised a question many in the government are asking. Ranil said he would explain it to the cabinet and agreed to repeat it at the government parliamentary group too. After that meeting, many told him that they had been summoned by Basil and that they would declare their stand to him. The cunning fox grinned and said nothing. Talks with IMF officials ended successfully. They met the government and the opposition separately. The IMF said that with staff-level talks over, their recommendations would be sent to Washington. The third instalment of $337 million will be released after receiving approval, it added. Ranil also had a meeting with Microsoft on developing artificial intelligence in Sri Lanka. Students and teachers of Conwewa Primary School in Anamadua visited their man, the President's Secretary Saman Ekanayake, who laid the foundation for a 2 million rupee building and teachers' quarters. They came with 7 boxes full of sweetmeats. With his help, they also visited key places in Colombo. Rangai Bandara told the UMP Management Committee that they could choose between Maradana and Independence Square to hold the May Day rally. Both places have already been booked, he said. Ranil and Maithri were at the Lionel Went for My Tribute concert. On Wednesday, he opened the bow tree at Tampita Vihara and went to Parliament. Surrounded by government MPs, Ranil was told a quote from Gutila Kavya by Namal Siripala de Silva. "Don't help bad people," he said, while looking at Professor Ashu Marasinghe. The professor said he should say it while looking at the opposition, not him. He also brought up the matter of resignations from COPE. The fox said that was beyond his control and Parliament should work things up. Only he knows if he was thinking about how the SLPP tried to get him into trouble. After joining Navin for the Gamini Disanayake commemoration, Ranil was in Jaffna and Polonnaruwa at the weekend. What could have been his intentions? It seems he is focused on the north too, after becoming the president. Namal still plays his own game. Namal Rajapaksa's absence at the vote on the no-faith motion worried many. Johnston Fernando had to give him a ring in the presence of a group of MPs and inquire about that. Namal replied that he was in Dubai after informing the Speaker, in order to hold the already postponed party and business meetings. He said he has been asked to hold his Dasabala Sena meetings in other countries too. When asked if the motion would have been passed by 1-vote majority, Namal said he looked into everything and knew of its certain defeat. But it is no secret that Namal is playing his own game. He will have to try at his hardest to be the leader of the party, leaving alone the leader of the country. That is true for Ranil, Mahinda, Sajith and AKD as well. That's it for today.